Cool weather did not change the racing action at Elko Speedway this past weekend. Once again, the night was hotly contested in all divisions. Just ask Jack Moo Moo Mays, Jason Snyder, and Tom Camish how tough of a night it was. Plus, Tim Johnson shows us his skivvies. Ho, 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 the Valvoline Elko Race Report is next.
Cloudy skies during the day over Elko Speedway did not drop any rain on the track. That meant good news for race fans. We are ready to go racing. Hello again, everyone. Wally Shaver and Ted Austad with you. And Ted, again, I think the thing that really stood out in my mind Saturday was the full pits that we had.
Well, you know that the drivers are going to come out because the racing action is always a blast for them, and that's also why the fans come out. No matter if it's hot or cold weather, the fans will come and the drivers will come because they know it'll be a good show at Elko Speedway. Saturday night was no different story. We had a great race in the Sportsman with Dan Ryan and Steve Anderson battling door handle to door handle. We had great racing in the late models. We've got all kinds of highlights today, Walt.
Yes, we do. Stay right with us because we'll also have a story on racers' superstitions. We'll be back.
Trying to win a big prize here at Lottery Month at Elko Speedway.
Come on, Will.
With all the motor oils on the shelf, how do you know which one to choose? Some people even think they're all the same. Then why do you suppose one brand of motor oil is the #1 choice of America's top mechanics for use in their own cars and trucks? Which brand? Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. And for extra engine protection, try Valvoline DuraBlend Synthetic Blend Motor Oil.
Here is your chance to see the Super Bowl of stock car racing. Thanks to Cruise and Air Travel of Burnsville, you can be at next February's Daytona 500. Relax on the beaches of Daytona and experience the biggest event on the NASCAR circuit. Your getaway includes round-trip airfare for two, deluxe hotel accommodations, rental car, and tickets to the big race. Register at Elko Speedway any Saturday night during June. Certain restrictions apply. Rules posted at the track. Contest ends June 24th. Elko Speedway, Minnesota's NASCAR connection.
You know, there should be a whole lot of road between you and your next set of tires. And that's why you should be on the road to Tires Plus for the hard-working Uniroyal Laredo all-season light truck radial tire.
Hi, I'm Tom Gigax.
Save this week on Uniroyal Laredo all-season light truck tires. They claw their way through mud and snow. Sure-footed, mile after mile.
Hurry, sale ends Saturday.
Low warehouse prices.
Tires Plus.
World-class service.
Tires Plus.
Stock car drivers will tell you that almost every time they go racing, there is a lesson to be learned. Well, for one Elko veteran and a rookie, there was some hard lessons learned last Saturday night. But first, Rapid Ray Genzler of Lakeville posted the second fastest qualifying time, and after fast timer Jeff Martin declined to take the DC Mechanical Ultimate Challenge, Genzler was loudly applauded to accept the attempt for the extra cash. That meant a last place starting spot, but 2 straight top 5 finishes had Genzler confident he could do it. Tom Camish sat on the pole last Saturday night, keeping his inside advantage over the number 11 Hooters ride of Jason Schneider. On lap 2, Paul Payne in the number 27 green Frost paint car tucked up under Camish, rolling through turn 3. Payne's aggressive style provided too much of a punch for Camish. As they banged bumpers, Camish went for a ride backwards into the turn 4 wall. Payne went for a ride in the opposite direction to the pits. And Ted, it cost the rookie Payne here, and it cost longtime veteran Jeff Martin a little bit later on.
Now, quick explanation of the rule is if you spin or cause the leader to lose his position, you're going to get the black flag and you'll be disqualified from the race. It happened to Paul Payne. It'll happen to Jeff Martin here in a few seconds. Jason Snyder became the new race leader as the 2 of the top 4 cars were now gone from the race due to the first caution. Jeff Martin was on the move. He slipped past Steve Mergick's Master Electric Chevrolet for 3rd. Then Tim Johnson drove to the outer lane looking for a passing setup. As his tires heated, it forced him to back off. Martin darted inside and now was in second. Rule enforcement number 2. Martin sneaked up on the back chute and stuck his nose under Schneider's rear bumper, sending the number 11 car for an unplanned ride. Martin was gone, and Schneider was forced to resume the race from the back of the pack on the restart. No hard feelings, though. Martin and Schneider shared a cold one after the races, and last we knew, Martin was buying.
Next restart saw Johnson and Johnson at the helm. Points leader Brian in the black number 18 Minneapolis Financial Chev, and Tim in the white number 99 Bloomington Insty Prince Olds Cutlass. Tim won the battle for now, as the challengers lined up behind him, including Brian, Mike Tuma, Mel Wallen, and Steve Murgic. Mel Wallen in the hard-to-read number 25 Dodge Avenger, fix those numbers, Mel, battled with Steve Murgic in the black number 3 ride. These two have been staunch competitors for several years at both Elko Speedway and Raceway Park. In 2 of the past 3 years, they each have won the Great Northern Region of NASCAR and the $25,000 top prize that goes along with that dubious title. Wallen pulled ahead of Murgic out of turn 2 and never looked back. Look at the love taps here as 4 of the top 5 cars did some nose rubbing through the 2 west end turns.
Halfway through the 30-lap finale, Brian Johnson was the race leader, a position he would hold through the finish. One final restart with 9 laps left brought some top competition to the front. Mel Wallen rode alongside the white number 82 Keelan Holmes DC Mechanical Chevrolet of Mike Tuma. Wallen on the inside held his spot and made his move towards the leader. Along with him came Mike Tuma. These 3 made it a thrilling finish for the chilled crowd as they crossed the line in that same order.
Remember Ray Genzler? Rapid Ray was encouraged by the crowd to take the ultimate challenge. He's seen here working past Tim Johnson, eventually ended the race in 4th. Not bad for starting dead last in the 20-car field. The race winner for the 2nd week in a row and the 3rd time this season is with Ted Austad.
A little bit of a cooler night here at Elko Speedway, but hot racing in the Mac Tools late model division. And Brian Johnson, you kind of survived there as we had some mishaps in the front of the pack. Took your time and you got to the front. What were you thinking when all these cars are spinning out in front of you?
Well, as far back as we were, I didn't know what was going to happen, but then there was lots of crashes, and I thought, well, we'll just try and stay out of the wreck to see where we end up.
Now, when you got drivers that are running real hard like that at the front of the pack, and it looked like the track was a little greasy tonight, what do you do to change your car and how it works out there during the race?
Well, we can adjust our brakes front to rear, so if the car is pushing too much, we might dial a little rear brake. So I was going back and forth both ways throughout the race.
I noticed towards the end of the race, the car seemed to be pushing high a little bit. Maybe you could explain to the race fans why that car was pushing like that.
Well, the car was a little tight to begin with, and when you got to pinch the car down into the bottom, it over-exaggerates the ill handling of the car and makes it worse. So kind of just opposite of last week with me and Jeff. I was leading instead of being the chaser this week.
Now, you started back in the late 70s in the spectator races, the amateur oval drags. Is that a good starting ground for racers?
Yeah, that's pretty good because, you know, you get out on the racetrack and the track looks a lot different when you're on it than sitting up in the stands watching.
Well, he learned his lessons well, and Brian Johnson comes home on top in the Mac Tools late model division.
Shake, rattle, and roll this Saturday night. It's high-speed, action-packed NASCAR auto racing excitement. The Thunder rolls every Saturday night at the Midwest Center for Speed, Elko Speedway. 4 exciting divisions: NASCAR late models, sportsmen, Thunder cars, and bombers. Elko Speedway is located just 10 minutes south of Burnsville on Interstate 35. Feel the thunder this Saturday night at Elko Speedway. For ticket information, call the Speedway at 461-RACE.
You want to know the secret to choosing a motor oil? You wait till the sun goes down. You take a ride to your local garage and then get a real close look at what the mechanic puts into his own car. Fact is, more top mechanics in America choose Valvoline over any other brand. Valvoline can help keep cars on the road for 100, 200, 300,000 miles and more. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. People who know use Valvoline.
Robbed. All that money? by an energy thief. Call the cooling authorities, your carrier dealer. The only one with the weather maker. It'll save you up to 60% on your cooling costs.
Another one? Busted.
Call your carrier dealer. It'd be a crime to call anyone else.
For all your carrier needs, call Genzler Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning in Rosemont. Are you the type of person who stays away from black cats, never walks under a ladder, or gets nervous if you break a mirror? Superstitions. We all have them, especially if you're a race driver. Here's kind of a fun look at some of the crazy superstitions that the Elko drivers have.
You gotta have glow-in-the-dark underwear on. I don't know why, it's just ever since I've had them on, I haven't wrecked the car too bad, so I always have glow-in-the-dark underwear on. It has checkered flags and race cars, and it says hot rod on it when you turn off the lights.
And when those pair are dirty, what do you use?
I use Santa Claus glow-in-the-dark ones on, and I got some on today. There's the little Santas right there, and they glow in the dark.
Oh, I like to wear the same t-shirt every week, and it just seems to bring me good luck, and I like to go to the same gas station, get the same fuel.
I don't have any superstitions except for maybe this hat. Been driving with it inside the car ever since I started racing. It's pretty grubby looking, but without it, I don't know what I'd do. Look at that beauty, isn't it sweet?
Well, my family, you can't eat peanuts during race day. It's just been a family tradition, and it kind of happened one night. My dad was eating a bunch of peanuts, and one of my brothers did crash, so ever since then, it's been a family superstition. You can't eat peanuts on race day.
Well, I wear the same underwear and the same socks every week. It's just more or less to put me at ease. I don't know why. Get up in the morning, have 2 pieces of toast for breakfast, and it's just a ritual thing. Been doing it now for 7 years, so not the same underwear though.
I wear the same shirt as long as we're doing well. If we go out and have a good weekend and don't wreck, then I'll make sure that shirt's clean and ready to go on next Saturday night until we have a bad night. Then I'll switch again.
I really don't know the reason why, but nobody on our team is allowed to wear any green, and no peanuts allowed in the pit. Don't ask me why, it's just stuff we do.
Used to be pancakes quite a bit. My wife would make me pancakes on race day, but it's gotten a little more towards an underwear type of thing. Trying to wear the same color every week. I don't know if it's working, but I haven't crashed yet. So.
I wear these special Nike Air tennis shoes because I'm afraid any other shoe might slip off the gas pedal or something and hit the brakes.
Well, I started out with articles of clothing and shoes and stuff like that, and as you can see, I've been changing clothes a lot, and things haven't been going too well. And then they had a thing with peanuts in the pits that it's bad luck, and man, we've been eating them by the pound, and it doesn't seem to make any difference. We can't finish anyway.
I probably should have some superstitions. I wish I could figure out which ones would work so I could get rid of some of this crazy weather we've had this spring.
Man, I don't know what these guys are talking about, Ted. I think these things are pretty tasty.
You know they are. And I'll tell you, lots of protein. They always made me fast when I was racing.
Oh, you cheated, though.
Okay. Let's go Thunder Car Racing. Feature race number 1 had birthday boy Jack Moo Moo Mays on the outside of row 1, and he was hoping to celebrate more than just another birthday. He wasted no time as his pit crew was ready to light the candles. Mays jumped to the early race lead. Mays in the red number 1 Pontiac was followed closely by Jim Doherty of Dundas in the white number 99 Chevrolet and Jason Osley of Lakeville. After that, there was a heated battle going on between Smokin' Joe Rauch in car 55 and Keith Johnson in number 84. Johnson has a streak of 4 straight top 3 finishes entering this race. Look at this bang, and Johnson cuts down low just as Rauch was bumped from behind by Gary Fredrickson. That sent Rauch's 55 ride up alongside Johnson. All 3 cars were a little squirrely coming out of turn 2. Johnson seemed to have a little better setup as he motored out of the corners and ultimately moved ahead of Rauch on the front straight.
Meanwhile, Jason Osley had moved past the 99 ride of Doherty and was closing the gap on race leader Mays. A big opportunity rose due to a late race caution period. That pitted Osley's machine on the outside of Mays. Moo Moo turned ahead to win the race. Jim Doherty stayed under Mays on lap 19 of the 20-lap feature, found a path past Osley to claim second. But wait, the birthday celebration for Jack Moo Moo Mays was utterly amazing And so it was too for runner-up Jim Doherty, as they ended up in the Mac Tools Tech Garage, and both cars were found to have illegal modifications to their suspensions, and both were disqualified. Third place finisher Jason Ostley was the winner. Mike Corbin moved up to second, and Keith Johnson was now third for another top 3 finish.
Race number 2, Dave Parrott piloted his Impala to the front. Working the outside was Lee Meyerdurk in his silver and blue number 52 Chevrolet, and I'll tell you folks, they provided more than the $8 admission price worth of entertainment. They swapped leads more times than I could count. Meyerdurk, he'd heat up his tires rounding the track in the outside groove, slip back a bit, and he'd work his way back up alongside Parrott. Look at this. This is stock car racing at its very best. 8 cars, all of them within range of claiming the victory. It would be fun to see more of this kind of racing featuring all the top drivers in the class. But lineups, due to the abundance of Thunder cars, call for a split of the top cars. Half will race in the first feature, and the rest of them will race in feature number 2.
After 2 weeks of so-so finishes since building his Thunder car, Joe Prusak in his Dream Girls number 66 Chevrolet battled points leader Lawrence Genzler door-to-door for most of the race. Prusak eventually inched ahead of Genzler, even through 3-wide racing. At the finish, Parrott maintained his lead, and marvelous Marv Vincent crossed in second. But watch as Genzler on the inside threw himself towards the finish line and crossed in third as Prusak and Meyerdurk sideswiped going for fourth. Prusak won the last lap struggle. Here's how the top 10 stack up in the Tires Plus Thunder cars.
With all the motor oils on the shelf, how do you know which one to choose? Some people even think they're all the same. Then why do you suppose one brand of motor oil is the #1 choice of America's top mechanics for use in their own cars and trucks? Which brand? Valvoline. People who know use Valvoline. And for extra engine protection, try Valvoline DuraBlend Synthetic Blend Motor Oil.
Here is your chance to see the Super Bowl of stock car racing. Thanks to Cruise and Air Travel of Burnsville, you can be at next February's Daytona 500. Relax on the beaches of Daytona and experience the biggest event on the NASCAR circuit. Your getaway includes round-trip airfare for 2, deluxe hotel accommodations, rental car, and tickets to the big race. Register at Elko Speedway any Saturday night during June. Certain restrictions apply. Rules posted at the track. Contest ends June 24th. Elko Speedway, Minnesota's NASCAR connection.
Don't miss the action this weekend for the rollover contest. It's a laugh a minute, and you'll certainly want to be there to see what happens. It may have been cloudy during the day, but the skies were clearing just as the sportsman cars moved into their starting positions for their 25-lap feature event. Rich Olds, who drives an Oldsmobile, what else? Moved off his pole position in his number 4 car into the early lead.
Jeff Partington in his white number 32 Buick was finding the outer groove a little tough to handle. Not only did he begin fading, but his car swung to the right exiting turn 4 and sent sparks off the front straightaway wall. Jeff managed a 10th place finish in this one. Steve Anderson, the 1993 track champion, eventually caught up to Olds and flew by him in the front of the grandstand. Anderson, driving his familiar red number 17 Chevrolet, entered the night second in series points behind only Dan Ryan. Steve finished 11th last week after 4 straight weeks in the top 4. While Anderson was vaulting to the lead, Rob Host in his DRS home repair Ford Thunderbird flattened the tire and had to leave the race.
Current points leader Dan Ryan in his Gens Ryan Chev started the race on the outside of row 4 and quickly moved up to challenge Rich Olds. A slight tap from Ryan sent Olds wobbling down the back chute, allowing Ryan to hold a blast through as he moved into third place. Ryan then pointed his red number 39 right towards Gordy Swanson in the yellow number 91 Olds Cutlass. Moving past Swanson, Ryan now found himself a full straightaway behind race leader Steve Anderson, a lead that looked uncatchable. Uncatchable, that is, until a caution flag came out on lap 16 when the number 90 Chev of Burnsville's Randy Wright spun in turn 4. On the realignment, Ryan selected the outside lane right next to Anderson. At the green, the two came together trading red paint. Side by side, they danced as 4 laps rolled by before Ryan finally inched ahead to become the third leader of the race.
With Dan Ryan trying to pad his lead, a turn 4 crash brought another caution out. Rich Olds in number 4 and Donnie Reavers in the blue 41 Chevelle got caught up in the heat of a battle, colliding and sending several cars scampering out of the way. Look at this. 2 laps left with Ryan and Anderson again lined up on the front row. Ryan timed the start perfectly, sped to the point, and he never looked back. Ryan collected his second win of the season, and he's now in the motor pits with Wally Shaver.
Big win for Dan Ryan tonight in the Sportsman Division. It's your second victory of the year to go along with 5 top 5 finishes. That's not too bad.
We're certainly not going to complain at this point. We'll take it and see what we can muster up for next week.
A crazy difference between last week and this week weather-wise. How does that affect the cars out there?
Well, today we found when we showed up today, we pretty much chased the car all day. It was really loose when we got here, and we just started chasing the setup around and kind of gambled for the feature. Paid off. It was really stuck on the second groove, so we'll take it.
You know, it looked to me like a lot of cars in a variety of divisions tonight were having problems in that outer groove, but it didn't seem to really bother you too much.
I always like to be a little bit on the different side, so I guess you know we took the long shot and just kind of went to an extreme setup for it, and it panned out. You know, next week that might not work. We probably won't be as lucky, but you know, there again we did it and it worked. So we're heroes today, and next week we might be zeros. You know.
Well, how about that second restart of the race? You and Steve Anderson were side by side, 2 of the top runners in the class. Yeah, did a little bit of paint swapping there, and it's a good thing both cars are red.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. You know, that's the best way to win a race, tooth and nail fighting like that. I was just about ready to pull back and let the tires cool and wait for about 4 laps to go to give Steve a run, and I mean, I couldn't. He come out of 4 one time, and I was pinching him down, and his rear end of the car broke loose a little bit. So I said, well, let's try it 1 more lap, and then by gosh, we started making some progression. And in one turn, he grabbed at the throttle, and they broke his tires loose coming out of 4, and I was able to get him right there. So I'm glad we stuck with it.
And because of that, Dan Ryan maintains his top position amongst the Sportsman Division leaders. Now here's a look at how they finished last Saturday.
You want to know the secret to choosing a motor oil? You wait till the sun goes down. You take a ride to your local garage and then get a real close look at what the mechanic puts into his own car. Fact is, more top mechanics in America choose Valvoline over any other brand. Valvoline can help keep cars on the road for 100, 200, 300,000 miles and more. So before you buy a motor oil for your car, know the one more top mechanics put into theirs. People who know use Valvoline.
You know, there should be a whole lot of road between you and your next set of tires. And that's why you should be on the road to Tires Plus for the value-priced Uniroyal Tiger Paw ASC. Hi, I'm Tom Gigax. Save this week on the Uniroyal Tiger Paw ASC, the all-season radial tire that works hard for your money. Sure put it, mile after mile. Hurry, sale ends Saturday.
No warehouse prices. Tires Plus. World-class service. Tires Plus.
It's bombs away, folks! The world-famous Bob 100 Bombers. You know those cars that you see tooling down Interstate 35 on your way to the races, and it looks like just a big old heap of junk?
Get that piece of junk off the road!
That's exactly what they do, and they put them in the Bob 100 Bombers and go racing. 38 of these beauts showed up last Saturday, and off to the races they went. Renee Smith, who piled up her car last week, spent plenty of hours getting it ready for this weekend. Her efforts paid off. She won her heat race, then set the pace early from the front row of the feature. Smith is a rookie this year and was followed closely by another greenhorn in Tom Minnick, driving the red number 93 car. But watch out for the veterans on this 3/8 mile oval. Tim Shaughnessy has plenty of seat time in this class, and he powered his blue number 5 Chevy past Minnick to claim second. Not even the spinning action could faze Shaughnessy, who, like Renee, had won his heat race earlier in the night.
Midway through their 15-lap feature, Shaughnessy drew up along Smith as the pair circled the track fender to fender. Shaughnessy completed the pass and went on to win. Good battles behind the winner kept everyone's interest, including this 4-pack of Minnick, number 11 Tim Hagseth, the purple number 56 rider Phil Peterson, and number 91 Sean Doherty, fending off one another for positions 3rd through 6th. How about this? 3 wide through the turns late in the race.
The second race had much of the same look as the first Bomber race. When the green fluttered, the 2 front row cars pulled the field of 20 finalists into the first turns. Wheel to wheel, Sandy Van Dyne in 31 and Todd Quinnell in number 94 broke away from the pack. Sandy moved to the point on the second lap, ready to take on all comers.
Halfway through this one, Van Dyne and Quinnell were unbeatable. But in behind, a torrid battle was being waged between 6 cars. That included Dennis Bart of the yellow 03 ride, Dave Frannick in number 13, John Schmitz in 17, and 3-time race winner this year, Johnny Hellendrung in the 32 Bomber. Now, as we watch this group jostling for position, Ted, really, what are the drivers looking to do here?
Finish.
Okay.
Todd Quinnell closed the gap on Sandy Van Dyne, but he could not get around her. Sandy picks up her second feature win of 1995, and I'll tell you, Wally, this lady can really drive a race car.
She can.
Here's a look at the top 10 point standings in the Bob 100 Bombers.
Well, you know, when you look at superstitions, Ted, I still can't see why these guys have a problem with these beautiful little things in the pods here. Did you have any superstitions when you raced?
Well, actually, I did. I used to wear all yellow. I wore a yellow suit, yellow shoes, and I also wore a lucky t-shirt.
Well, as long as your underwear weren't yellow, you'd be fine. Okay, if you want to find out more about superstitions, come on out and see for yourself this Saturday night. Time trials for the late models at 7 o'clock. Racing starts at 7:30, and we'll see you at the races.